Hello, hello, it's Simone. Today I am designing for Shimmerz paints, and if you remember my video from January where I created a colorful rainbow journaling background, this is exactly what I'm going to do today. Shimmerz is already pre-ordering or taking pre-orders for their new stamp sets. Yes, Shimmerz is releasing stamps that will definitely work with their colorings and all of the paints that they have. But I decided that I was sent a layering stamp set, and I have never before even tried it out. So what I did was I just tried to stamp it one evening on a scrap piece of graph paper that was laying around from my son, and I just tried it with those inks that I had recently purchased. Yes, I went all out and bought most of the colors, or I think all of the colors from the archival mini ink pads. And I really liked the texture that the graph paper gave to the flowers that were finished. And yeah, it was just an easy way to try out something I had never tried before. And graph paper, I could just throw it into the trash. Nothing really happens when you use that. So I decided, well, there are lots and lots of perfect stamping videos out there. I am going to show you how you can lose your fear of stamping, of trying new things, and just go for it and then actually create something beautiful with it, even though it was just a scrap piece of paper where you overcame your fear of stamping, your fear of doing something wrong, when actually, yeah, you just should go ahead and try it out. So, what did I do? I stamped out the first layer, which is the full colored background of the flower in different colors, and I decided I was going to go springy and use yellows, oranges, and a darker orange, as well as pinks and purples. And then I just used my stamp block, the ink, and stamped the next layer right on top of it. So that's the shadowing of the flower petals. And then the last stamp that I added was the outline of the stamp. Yes, you could use a stamp platform for this. You could do stamp precisely. You could use the perfect stamps. You could use definitely the Shimmerz colorings and inklings and creamies for this and create a more artsy style. But it's just, if you don't have these things, it doesn't mean you can't do it. It's just going to be a little bit more sloppy, a little bit more artsy looking, even though you don't take artsy inks. And it will still turn out in the end. So, because we are going to fuzzy cut it, and the flowers are they're a really nice size, especially for planners, but they're also nice to create die cuts for your scrapbooking and especially great for cards. So it doesn't really, if you're not that precise when stamping, that nobody will ever notice that, because you're going to use your scissors to fuzzy cut, and then you can just cut off the excess that you think is not going to be right. So I stamped several yellow, orangey flowers and 3 pink flowers, and then I added the leaves to my paper, to my stamp block. I added there is 2 different kinds of leaves. It's a leaf branch as well as a singular leaf, and I just added them to my stamp block and then stamped them out several times, and then I'm going to add the same layering as I did to the flowers to the leaves. And then I'm not going to make you watch all of this. I'm just showing you that I'm using my scissors to roughly cut around the shape of each of the flowers. And I'm doing the exact same thing to the leaves. And then instead of saying, okay, this worked, I am just going to create a journaling background with it. And I'm not really sure if I really like the pink flowers, but then it's very monotone. So I decide, oh, I'll add the flowers, and instead of sticking them down, I'm grabbing my inklings, and I have Green Goddess, Beats Me, as well as French Kiss, and then I'm adding some water to them to make them react. They are reacting with water, and they're dry when you open them up, and you need to add some water and let it sit for a little while to use them. And then I'm just adding paint with my paintbrush to the places where I think I need some color in the background, and then I'm dabbing it up with my tissue paper, because I really want the flowers to stand out and not the background. And so the less colorful it is, the better. But there is a little bit behind, and that is exactly what I'm going for. And then I'm using the French Kiss inklings, and then I'm adding that. And I don't really add it with, I don't have a special reason for why I'm adding it where I'm adding it. I'm just adding all of those 3 colors, because I know most of it will be covered up by the flowers anyway. So again, I'm dabbing up a little bit of the color, because I feel that it's just going to be in the background and it's not supposed to stand out that much. But yeah, as I said before, I need something. And as I said before, Shimmerz Paints is now coming out with several new stamp sets that are amazing. They are really great for cards, for backgrounds, for art journaling, for planners, or like I do for these kinds of decorating your weekly memory keeping spreads. And there's so many different things you can do with them. And they were actually designed to be used with the Shimmerz product. So lots of them have outline stamps that you can then color in, which is a great way to use stamps. You could use embossing ink, and maybe use clear embossing powder and stamp them and then color them in to have some kind of a resist background. Maybe that would be a really great thing to do. I would love to try that, but maybe when I do my next video, I could show you some ideas with that if you're interested. And I received a really cute poppy stamp set, and I have yet to use it, because it's similar to stickers, but stamps won't be used up, right? I haven't used them yet, because I just haven't had the great idea yet. But I should do it like this here, just stamp them and then use them for a journaling background, because I can tell you one thing that is really I have experienced when I do this and create something like that on a journaling background. My ideas start to wander, and I get so many great ideas for scrapbooking layouts, for cards, and for so many different things. So I'm finishing up. I added a T tag that is talking about what was it saying? Like you determine whether a flower is a weed or a flower, something like that. And I really loved it, because it's so true. And I created 2 clusters, a bigger one at the bottom right corner and a smaller one on the top left. And that is what I use as the base for my journaling. Here is the finished product in the beginning. This is what I created right after I finished the journaling. The journaling background. I did this on March 15th, so I had already had some things happen. I added a quote right in the middle from Stephen Hawking. He died on March 14th, and so I thought it was appropriate to kind of celebrate his life. And also the quote really spoke to me. And then I added all of the things that happened that week around the center, the quote, which is the center of the layout. Here are some close-ups of the finished spread. I then went back several days later, once the week was over, and added the last bits to this spread. I really, really love how it turned out. It is bringing me so much joy to think about all the little things that happened during a week. I love the creative outlet where I don't really have to be perfect. It's a really great playground to try out things, as I just showed you here. And yeah, thank you. Head on over to the Shimmerz store to have a look at all the stamps. And if you decide to order, don't forget to add my name in the comment section on checkout, because you will receive a free paint sample. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Until then, bye.